So this is Alice Parker. I, for one, can't wait to get her in the captain's chair by Melfi Designs. Off we go, because it's time to learn what she's got to say about navigation and yachting. Bulwarks and Bulldust Season 3. Thank you so much for joining us. In the captain's chair by Melfi Designs is none other than Alice Parker. Hi.
Hey.
This is great. We got you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alice, first up, got to talk about the Fastnet.
Yes, we do.
Massive event, 466 boats or whatever it was. I don't really want to kick off with a negative, but I've just done it, so shoot me.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of really great things about that race. It was my first Fastnet, which was the most exciting thing of all. And I got to do it on an absolutely amazing boat, the Swan 53 Bedouin with Linda and her family. Spectacular. 2 bathrooms, men's and a ladies. We ate beautiful Italian food every day. We had perfect conditions. It wasn't really a Fastnet in the true sense that people talk about, I think max wind speed was 27 knots, and that was at night with the kite up. We were just kind of cruising.
Glory days.
Yeah, we did 2 sail changes, J2 to the rock, code 0 out of the rock, and then into the A2 to the finish. So, as far as sailing goes, it doesn't really get much better than that. And then on paper, we did quite well. We were winning our division, and unfortunately, as sometimes happens in sailing, things go back into a protest room, and we unfortunately came out on the wrong side of that. But we still, there's a lot of really great things to take away from that race.
At the point in time the incident happened, did you think you were in the wrong? I mean, did you think that there was a potential you should have done your turns?
That's the loaded question. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a port and starboard in any race is always going to be a question. There's always going to be a question. And in a race like that, 700 nautical miles, you can always look back and go, oh, we should have just done the turn. You always think back, you're like, oh, in hindsight, we should have just done the turn. And at the time, that was the call we made, and that's, what we have to kind of live with and go from now. So, big lessons learned. And we'll certainly come back, I think, ready and racing for the next opportunity to get back out there and just prove that it's not all about what happened in the protest room, but about what we did on the water and all the good things we did on the water, apart from that one little moment.
No, it's happened before. It'll happen again.
It'll happen again.
And if it had happened at Hammer on Wild Oats, I guarantee you would have done your spins, because between yourself and Rico.
Well, there's, it happens at the highest level of the sport. This was a team, with a family, going and having a red hot go. And, same thing happened in a Hobart a few years ago with Wild Oats and Comanche. A similar thing happened to us on URM on Big Boat Day. These things happen, it's part of the sport, and I think it's about that conversation you have before you even leave the dock about, okay, if something happens, if there's a question, how do we deal with that? Are we going to do the turn? Are we going to, have a discussion on the water? What do we do about that? Big lessons learned. It was good.
Well, I guess the biggest thing for us is that women racing high end, this is something that we are all very passionate about on this panel. And indeed, I think Phoebe has a bit of a girl fan scenario going on with Alice. So hi to Phoebe. But for us, it's really exciting because you're racing at the top level in a very demanding role, being the navigator. Thanks for not wearing the Ugg Boots, but we noticed that the cup of tea beforehand definitely indicates time spent in the chair strapped to the desk. Please tell us a little bit about what got you into it, the pathways that are available to people, and the fact that irrespective of your age or your gender, you can definitely be part of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm so lucky that I came from match racing background, and through that pathway, through the youth development program at the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club, I met some amazing mentors. little segue, but obviously I was, doing some two-handed racing just before COVID. And part of two-handed sailing is that you need to, get your hands dirty and do everything on the boat, from the bow to the navigation to fixing broken things. So, I took it upon myself to learn to navigate. And a gentleman, Richard Hudson, who owns a FAR 45 called Pretty Woman, he often mentored or took a lot of young kids from the youth development program on his boat, and he was looking for a navigator, and he said, "Oh, would you like to learn?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing this two-handed stuff. It would be a great opportunity." So he every Friday night or Friday afternoon through COVID, basically sat down with me and sort of taught me the ropes of how to use expedition and, the things to look for as a navigator. And I realised I really enjoyed it, and that was going to be my niche. And I went on from there to do more courses, purchased the software, started learning, doing more races, just really got amongst it. And long story short, here I am, still learning, still massively on the steep learning curve, which is what's so fabulous about it. But it just takes one person like that to give you an opportunity as a woman, as a young sailor of any gender, for you to get your foot in the door and start to have a go. And I think if you put the work in, regardless of where you've come from, regardless of your gender, hopefully you're going to see an outcome, or you're going to have an opportunity that, comes to your doorstep, and you just have to say yes.
I mean, it's really great because, you sort of are that pinnacle, that guiding light, and that's a really, really good thing for other people to see it, whether they're older or younger, that, your star is rising, and that's a really, really great thing. And we're very proud that, you've spoken with us along the journey about that, because every time something goes well, we're there, and every time something might not have gone quite as well, we're also there. And I know that we love supporting you in that regard. So thank you, and please keep going. Obviously, don't stop, because there are a lot of female sailors looking up to you.
It's pretty cool. That's really kind of you to say. I mean, I've also had some amazing female mentors, and people paved the pathway for me. I mean, you look at people like Adrian Cahalan, Stacey Jackson, Nina Curtis, Sophie Chizet, Katie Speedhill, Pellew. There's all these amazing, strong women that have, paved the pathway for little old Alice from the mountains to come in and have a go. But then there's also some amazing male mentors who are, regardless of gender, giving opportunity too. I get to sit next to Grant Simmer, a lot, and spend time on the phone yarning with him, and I pinch myself every time I, get to sit next to a person like that. So, I think it goes right through all the generations of, the people before me that are making it, creating that pathway, and then hopefully I can, pass on my knowledge as well to anyone who's coming up, at my age. And there's a really cool little community of young navigators now. We all help each other. It's a bit of a lonely role. It's not often you get to sit next to another navigator and pick their brains. So it's pretty cool. We're all sort of helping each other to learn and figuring out how we can do it better.
What are some of the things that Grunter, for instance, has passed on? Because that is a wealth of knowledge there.
He's so cool.
That is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, we're nerds. We're big nerds.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, but you seem like a bunch of nerds.
We are a bunch of nerds, yeah. We're proud nerds, but we're nerds.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, he's always got, something that he's got to focus on. At the moment, we're talking a lot about risk management. Risk management in how you approach a race course or prepare for a race, and that's been super, super cool. Just his approach to what we're going to look at is risk management, and he starts to pull together resources and talks to people about it and creates this knowledge base. Such a cool way of approaching the sport. Little things like that. I mean, then there's also, of course, one of my favourite gifts that he's given me was a set of meteorology notes from his America's Cup campaign that Roger Badham gave the team. They're so cool. I love them. When I'm feeling sad, I just open that up and look at that and think, oh, this is, super, super cool. Something new to learn,
Well, that's a pretty good segue. Just a by note, Phoebe's just called. And I'm not even lying. I just had a missed call from Phoebe. But one of the things that Phoebe was talking to me about this morning in preparation for this afternoon is that you're actually a physio by trade.
Yeah.
So are you now getting to a point where professional sailing is starting to take over?
Yeah.
From your actual day job?
It is, yeah. It's great. It's really great. And what's super cool about physio is that it has sort of, lent itself into sailing. And one of the reasons I became a physio was because I loved sailing and I wanted to do something where I could be hands-on and it would mesh in well with sailing. So I work in private practice, I teach Pilates, we do concussion and whiplash management. So I actually got the opportunity last year to go and do some stuff with the girls that represented us in the America's Cup, doing a little bit of weather work for them and then also some physio stuff and just being a fangirl. But yeah, so I've practiced for about 6 years in physio, and then sort of beginning of last year, I thought, you know what, I'm really loving this sailing thing. It's kind of taking over all my clinic hours. Where else can I take this? And I'm now back at uni doing a Bachelor of Science with the goal of majoring in mathematics so that I can become a meteorologist. So I've really changed tack from physio there. But the last year and a half, I'd say, I've been doing more sailing than I have hands-on work. When I'm back in Sydney, it's really fun to go back to the clinic and see my clients and teach again and get hands-on and, just kind of breaks up the sailing cycle a bit too.
But the ambition is to be a full-time sailor.
Yeah, 100%.
So one of the biggest learning experiences we have, and you and I have got some shared experience in this area, but one of the biggest learning experiences we go through in any sport, but sailing probably more so in some ways, is when things go wrong.
Yeah.
So you had a very well publicised issue a couple of years ago where you ended up standing on the bottom of a boat with it missing a very important part. What was that experience like? Because it was 18 hours, I believe, before you got rescued?
Not quite that many. It was 15 hours.
Right, I went 12. So,
yeah, it's a competition, right? And we were sitting, not standing. Look, I certainly wouldn't recommend that experience to anyone, and it's certainly something I wouldn't wish upon anyone. But it's also, having been through that experience, there's so much that I've learned and that I can pass on from it. One of the biggest things about it is that things go wrong at sea. Things go wrong at sea and they go wrong quickly. And when they go wrong quickly, knowing, you can have the most prepared boat, you can have all the safety equipment, you can have everything that you need on board to be ready for that situation, and still things happen really fast. Gear fails, as we discovered. So it's really about, making sure you remember your training, use your training, and stay calm and level-headed. I'm sure you guys would have had a similar experience.
Yeah, I think one of the things that it's definitely changed my dialogue in terms of how I address my crews and how I address my own gear. Not having my gear secured properly. The old throw it on a shelf, throw it on a bunk, not having it clipped to anything is definitely something that I've changed my modes on. And also that the burden of safety lies with everyone on the boat.
100%. And with yourself as well, something I harp on a lot about now, and I always have been pretty safety conscious, but especially now is, people check your PLB. If it's not your own, make sure you're familiar with it. Make sure you know how everything works. Where's the button? How big is it? Can you get to it? Where's your knife? One thing I remember quite strongly about our whole experience was I had my knife on me. It was in my pocket and I thought it was really accessible, but it was actually quite hard for me to get to. So little details like that, really, really important to be across.
Yeah, absolutely. Has it deterred you from doing more two-handed sailing in the...
Unfortunately for my mum, no.
Where did yours occur? Because yours happened in pretty warm water, I think, if you're going to have one of...
Well, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Do it somewhere nice and tropical,
somewhere nice,
right?
warm.
Actually, that's exactly what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Alice's was off Newcastle, Stockton Bight, pretty
We're
much.
at Wollongong, so we were doing a qualifier. It was the middle of June, so it was ahead of the Southport race.
Oh, freezing.
It was freezing cold.
Yeah.
We were hypothermic.
Makes a big difference.
Makes a big
So you had
difference.
it easy.
Sure. Absolutely. And I got to go in a helicopter.
Yeah, so that's cool. I got to go on a Navy ship, so that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've crossed that. I've ticked that box.
Yeah, I think we both have ticked that box, and we just don't need to tick it again. But I think there's some pretty cool and important discussions and safety lessons to be learned there. Australian Sailing put together an amazing report. Well, it was actually 3 volunteers from the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club that put together this report, a safety review, after our incident. And there's some amazing detail in there that I think it's worth reading. So that people can go and learn about, okay, what do we actually experience? It's a good tale. But also, you know, what are the lessons learned, and then apply them to your boat. You know, whether it's a monohull, a cruising boat, a catamaran, have a think about the worst case scenario and then start to put the pieces in place for if something happened, what would you do?
Well, I guess for me, the biggest thing that I always remember is that, yes, it was, you know, very cold, and, you know, holding onto a sail drive's not easy at the best of times, let alone when you get a bit tired and a bit more fragile and emotional, shall we say. I really wanted to, because we all know how determined and focused you are as a sailor, but that kind of resilience while you're on top, wondering, you know, how this is all going to get solved. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because that was the thing that I remember going, you know, holding onto the sail drive, that's a big thing to do for so long.
For so long. It's funny, you never really know how you're going to be in that situation until you're actually there, right? And when we capsized, it wasn't windy. The sea state was quite calm. You know, we were obviously in shock, but, you know, we had a bit of time to kind of gather ourselves and think about, you know, we'd done sea safety survival training, and we had a pretty clear discussion between ourselves saying, you know, okay, we've set off our PLB. No one's going to be here till sunrise. At best case, you know, it was 1 o'clock in the morning at that stage. So we had at least 6 hours where we had to just wait.
So it's such a relief when the sun comes up, though, isn't it?
Well, the other thing is we knew there was some weather coming. We knew the weather was due at about 10 o'clock the next morning. And so I was like, okay, someone will come before that happens, sort of thing. Took a bit longer than that. But, you know, yeah, definitely that relieving feeling when the sun came up.
Why did it take longer?
Well, unfortunately, our PLB didn't transpond.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so there's a few things that failed that meant that we were out there for longer than we expected to be, obviously. But yeah, PLB didn't fail. I had my AIS beacon similarly tied to the same piece of rope in my bum bag. So when I fumbled and got my PLB out, my AIS drifted away. Whoopsie. Mobile phones, VHF radio, they were all on the nav station in a nice, safe place, but inaccessible. And our boat EPIRB was in the companionway on the wall. And so when we capsized, my co-skipper Claire, she tried to get it, but quite difficult to undo the latch in the middle of a capsize. So, you know, little details make a big difference.
But it does change your attitude, like we spoke about before.
Totally.
And leads to design changes, rethink on how things are attached, held, positioned, unclipped.
I've ditched the bum bag altogether. I just put my PLB in my pocket. Make sure my knife's super accessible. It's usually, you know, in my chest or something like that if I'm wearing a jacket. You know, I think it's really nice to have a grab bag on the back of the boat where you can just grab and go. And life raft accessibility is another big one that you want to think about. You know, can you get it in an inversion? But also, can you get it if you need it when you're not inverted? So, look, I mean, I can pull this apart for hours and hours, but they're all just discussions that you just need to have.
And how about teamwork at that time for those hours? Was that key?
Yeah, super key. I mean, Claire and I, we've been sailing together for years and years. We had a Flying 11 together that it was actually called This Way Up. Highly ironic. But we're really good friends, and we've been friends for a long time. And that moment, you know, we just looked after each other. You know, we had some terrible conversations about, you know, what's the game, Shoot, Shag, Marry. We played I Spy. We talked about what meal we were going to eat when we got to shore, chicken schnitzel and a margarita. You know, and we basically just talked our way through it.
So moving on to more positive things, you've obviously been doing a lot of diverse type of sailing lately. Obviously moved a little bit into multi-hulls every now and again with one of my great mentors in my life, Darren Drew.
Yes, he's such a legend.
Yeah.
Such a legend.
We've done some time together. And obviously congratulations also on winning the Division 2 multi-hull nationals this year. We spoke earlier to Ben Kelly, the Division 1 champion, so congratulations.
Yes, no, super cool.
I think you timed your run well on that boat.
I think I might have. But yeah, no, super fun. I love multi-hull sailing. It's really fun. So
So you've enjoyed the multi-hull sailing?
Yeah, I have. A little bit quicker and a little bit flatter. I kind of like both of those things.
Yep.
Hopefully I'll do a little bit more of that in the future, but we'll see what happens.
And obviously, I think Wally's going to have a chat to you about the URM program. That was a big part.
Yeah, that looks great. Obviously, monohull 72 Rykel Pew, formerly Shockwave, I believe. So have you done five Hobarts?
I've done I'd call it 4.5 Hobarts.
4.5? Nah, five.
Five Hobarts.
Yep.
2 on URM.
2 on URM. Okay.
2.5 on 3 on URM.
in the navigating role?
Yeah, the first Hobart I did was a trimmer on the Pretty Woman, and then I did my second Hobart as a navigator, and then the next 3 as a navigator on URM.
Right. Everything I read about you, everybody says how lovely you are, and I mean, I'm not believing it really, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm actually not that good.
I mean, you're the brain, you're the nerd, but you're also got a great personality and a great spirit, and but yeah, everything I read is just like, you know, how wonderful this girl is. I'm just still looking for a chink in your armour, but we'll keep working on that. What are your weaknesses, Alice?
Oh gosh, I think I could be a lot more confident in some of my calls.
Really?
Yeah, no, especially when you're sailing with people that are really experienced and have been doing it for a long time. It's easy to kind of think like, what am I doing? You know, am I meant to be here? Should I be here? You know, that kind of like self-doubt.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. And then, you know, one thing I probably do quite well is own my mistakes. Like that was on me, and then I beat myself up for it. So I think, you know, being able to go, okay, I made a mistake, now move on to the next thing. I think that's really important.
Yeah, you're always learning though. I mean, I didn't have any sailors in my family, and I started quite late. And I remember the guys I used to sail with, they'd have their own lingo, and they kind of almost shut you out to a degree. Yeah. That was their sport for the weekend. You were a visitor, and you just had to look and learn and hopefully not ask too many dumb questions or do anything dangerous. And because the risk always is when you know a little bit and you think you know too much, and you know, if you make mistakes or whatever, so you just sort of got to keep your head down and keep learning. But it's a life's journey, isn't it?
Totally.
But you've obviously got more skills than our navigator had, because he used to call them maps. So I'll just go down and get the maps, he used to say.
Oh, we love getting them out. Well, it's kind of fun.
Paper maps, but
like
there you go. So the URM crew, you've been with them for a few years.
Yeah.
Tell us about that program.
I mean, so much fun. Just a really, you know, really good vibe, good people. Again, amazing sailors. Quite a few skiffies on board, so we definitely like to send it, which is good. You know, we did a lot of work on the boat and the program to get it to the level that it got to, and to be so close to a win. That was, you know, that year was so fantastic, because it was just like all the pieces of the puzzle came together. We were having fun, you know, we were having a laugh, and we were performing well. The boat was sailing really well. We were in our kind of perfect window, and all the pieces just fell into place. And unfortunately, the last little piece didn't quite work out.
As so often is the case with the Hobart.
As often is the case with the Hobart, the Derwent River can be a fickle place. But, we still came away with an amazing result.
Absolutely.
And yeah, onwards and upwards, it's a great boat and a great crew and a great owner, a great bunch of owners. It's super cool.
80th this year, of course.
Yeah, super cool.
And you just competed in a very important Fastnet as well. So
Yeah.
we're going to be able to join the two.
That's the
I
plan.
was just going to ask on that though. I mean, comparing, say, the URM campaign to, say, Wild Oats that you've just done at Hamo, is there a difference in the feeling between the two boats?
I mean, every program's going to be different just for the people on board being different. But I think the level of professionalism is very similar in terms of, people show up and they do their job. And there's no sense of ego as such. It's like, okay, well, what can I learn from the person next to me and what can I teach the person next to me? There's kind of that kind of back and forth a little bit.
It's kind of an interesting mindset, being paid to learn.
Yeah, it is. But isn't
Learning on
that
the
how
job.
every profession is? I mean, like I think about
Unless
physio.
you're a brain surgeon, maybe.
But even then, like if you, you're never going to know everything about the human body, for example, for physio, like I'll see someone and 9 times out of 10 and you're like, oh yeah, it's patellofemoral pain syndrome, their kneecap's a bit sore because of X, Y, Z. But maybe I missed this one thing about this person, or maybe there's this little bit that you discuss with someone and you pick up a new test you could do, or a different way of treating, a different way of taping the knee. And I think it's the same way with navigation and with sailing, right? Like, I might go and download a weather model and think this is the one, this is always right. And then you have a bit of a chat with someone and goes, oh no, did you not see that with this WRF model? That was way better. And you go, oh, okay, maybe I don't have it all fully worked out. And I think the moment you think you do have it all worked out is when you need to really step back and go, hang on a second, what am I doing here? For me personally, I think it's all about progression and learning and getting better. And gosh, if I ever say that I know it all, then it's time to to either move on to something else or reality check. So,
And of course, you've got Middle Sea, Malta.
yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited for that race. It's a massive bucket list for me.
I was going to say, you're Newport, Bermuda, and you're starting to close out the loop of all the great races, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm hoping to tick off a few
ticking a few
more.
off.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Middle Sea ride.
So I'm sailing on a boat called Maverick, an Infinity 46. The owner I actually sailed a McConaughey 38 with here in Sydney quite a few years ago. It's going to be super cool. Bunch of guys from Perth. Stu Bannatyne's a tactician. It's going to be really cool. Cool little boat. A little less comfortable than the Swan 53. More freeze-dried, less Puttanesca. But that's all right.
Definitely, and just the one, well, not even head, but anyway.
Well, yeah.
Just the one bucket, maybe? I don't know.
I jumped on board and I took a photo straight away of the head and sent it to Linda, who owns the Swan, and she's like, girl, why?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing? But, yeah, I love that part of it too, the adventure.
How many girls on board?
Just me. Well, depends.
Right. But you're pretty used to telling blokes what to do, from what I understand.
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable. It's fine.
It said it here. It says she's used to telling 20 blokes what to do.
Including
Yeah.
Marcus Ashley Jones, apparently. So.
Yeah, Madge. Hi, Madge.
We have good banter, Madge and I. It's good. But yeah, no, it doesn't worry me at all.
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, as you say, going out there to tick off a few of the great ones, it's always a good look. So good luck with the Middle Sea as well.
Thank you. No, it's super cool.
It'll be a wonderful thing. I think the big thing is we'd love to make sure that you come back. Stories always. So please stay close as you have done. And at this point, obviously, a really big thank you from Wally, Lee and myself to making the effort to come on. I know it's been hard to jostle calendars and so forth, but we've done it. Yeehaw.
Go us.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of young girls listening out there, I'm sure, and to encourage them and to aspire to be like you and get into sailing and join at any age and get out there and have a go, and it's just terrific. And it's you learn so much about teamwork and so much about yourself as an individual, don't you?
Totally. Resilience, yeah, learning. And I think too, you've nailed it on the head. You can do it from when you're 8 years old to when you're 80 years old, and you have friends that are from that age spectrum as well, which is what I think is really, really cool about the sport. So yeah, have a go.
I think you need to sign us off.
Thanks again for watching Bulwarks and Bulldust. Please don't forget to like, follow, share, comment. If you've got any feedback, any questions for Alice Parker, please do not hesitate to reach out. We really value your feedback. Thanks again for watching Bulwarks and Bulldust, and we'll see you next time.
Alice Parker, thank you so much. Please take our memento cap for being on Bulwarks and Bulldust. Loved having you.
Thank you so much. No, it was really awesome. And yeah, someone who fizzes on the show, super cool to be here. So thanks.
Wonderful.